previously she's come and has performed the final rite ceremony for her father, and now she's come and has performed it for her mother. And now she and her family will go back home. They've traveled here to this holy place to perform that final rite ceremony. And now they'll go back, and now it's that time of adjusting, readjusting, and how difficult it is. Because the banks of Ganga are a place where we come for celebration. People come and get married. They come and celebrate birthdays. They come and do the mundan, the first haircut of their child. They come to celebrate every aspect of life, or just to celebrate life itself. Sit on the banks of Ganga or take a walk on the banks of Ganga in the evening, and what you'll see is families and children splashing in the water in great joy. And it's also a place where people come for this final rite ceremony. It's a place where from all over the world, people travel to immerse the ashes of the loved one in the waters of Mother Ganga. And there's a couple of really beautiful aspects in this, that whether we've just lost a loved one or whether we're going to lose a loved one in the future, since that's all of us, or we've just recently lost one. First of all, we come here because we feel like the loved one is gone. That's what the pain is. The final rite ceremony is just the ashes into the waters of Ganga. The body has been turned to ash, the ashes are now in Ganga. But the despair is due to the feeling of, my mother has left us. She's no longer here. And yet what this really gives us such a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to realize is how that mother was so much more than her body. During the course of your life, from the time you were born, how old are you? 57. So in 57 years, your mother's body changed so many times. When you were an infant, she was a very young woman. As you grew, she changed. Now, prior to passing, she was an older woman. The physical being has changed constantly. That which she looked like upon passing bore probably very little resemblance at all to what she looked like when you first met her, when you came out of the womb 57 years ago. Clothes were different, skin was different, hair was different, everything was different. But mother was the same. What was that mother that you loved from the minute you came out, and that you still loved 57 years later? Not the body, because the body's changed. It's not the same mother. What you loved and still love is the essence of mother. That soul, that spirit, that the mother of mother. Not the clothes she's wearing, the body is just the clothes. And she changed bodies just as many times as she changed clothes. But whether she was wearing a sari, a salwar kameez, her pajamas, a bathrobe, you understood it was all still mother. And you loved her just as much. Now she's just wearing a different body. But it's just a body that we can't see. It's clothes we can't see. But that essence of mother, that soul, that spirit, that's still here. It's just taken a different form. The only difference is that this change is one that you no longer can hold in your hands. You no longer can see it with these eyes. You can't hear her voice with these ears. But that's a challenge for us. That's a weakness of ours. It's not that Mom's gone somewhere. It's just that she's taken now a form that these eyes can't see. These ears can't hear. These hands can't touch. And so what it gives us is this beautiful opportunity to try to open eyes that can see her, and open ears that can hear her, and develop a sense of touch that can feel her. Because we have that. But for all these years, it's just been sort of the default, easy way to use these eyes, these ears, these hands. Now she's given us a challenge. And she says, go deeper. There's a beautiful, beautiful story of when Paramahansa Ramakrishna passed away, and his wife, whom he had married when she was a very, very young child, it was an arranged marriage in old traditional India. And so when they had gotten married, the bangles, the bracelets that had been put on his wife were put on the hands of a young child. And then she grew, he passed away. After he passed, she was sitting in their mandir, trying to remove her bangles, because widows are not supposed to wear the bangles. But the bones of her hand and wrist had grown so much since she had put them on that they no longer would come off. And so she got a hammer, and she was about to hammer off the bangles. And suddenly she hears his voice. It says, Sharda, what are you doing? I haven't gone anywhere. I've just moved from one room to another room. So now the challenge and the opportunity is ours. Can we see in that new room? Can we hear in that new room? Can we feel in that new room? So rather than the despair in the morning, sure, there's a place for that as well. But as we move from that, rather than just wallowing in that or sinking in that, as we move through that, we move through it like a wave and a door into something deeper, into a new place of connecting with Mom. And then what that does, and this is the second part I was going to mention, is it makes us all realize something very, very deep and not so pleasant, but nonetheless so true, that its lack of pleasantness doesn't mean that we shouldn't acknowledge it, which is that today it's Mom, yesterday it was Dad, tomorrow it's going to be us. And that's true for every one of us. You know, we sit on the banks of Ganga here, performing our divine Ganga Arati every night, and we sing and we dance and we celebrate, and it's ecstasy. And just across the river, a little bit down, they perform cremations. And sometimes more in the summer when there's more of a population here, but nonetheless about once a week, if you open your eyes during the Arati and you look just south, you can see a cremation going on the other side of the river. And the first time I saw it, I thought, oh my God, how it must feel to them to have lost the loved one, and to have us over here with the audacity to celebrate. I mean, when we lose a loved one, the feeling is, how dare the sun rise let alone how dare people celebrate. But there's something that is so beyond deeply beautiful about that, because the Ganga separates us. And so we feel like, oh, we're safe over here in our celebration, and this is life over here, and that's death over there. And we're very safe because we've got this big river between us. But that's only true on the ground level of reality. The minute you go a few feet in the air, the flames from our arti and the flames from that cremation become one. And there is no way to extricate what were the flames of celebration and what were the flames of mourning. And it makes us realize that, today, in this moment, in this particular intersection of space and time, on this plane of reality, I'm over here celebrating. Someone is mourning. Someone is burning. But at a different intersection of space and time, on a different day. It's going to be me over there mourning. And then, at a different intersection of space and time, on a different plane of reality, it's me over there burning. And to realize that actually all three of these exist simultaneously. That they're all part of this incredible experience of life. And every moment that we have to celebrate is a moment that we should celebrate. Because we don't know when. We know for sure there will be a day. But when that day will come, no one knows. God bless her that she lived to such a ripe old age. But we don't know. And so as we celebrate, we simultaneously are present with what's happening on the other side of the river. With an awareness that that too is our reality. And it's only grace that has us in this moment on this side of the river. And that becomes a seed for such gratitude, such celebration, and such awareness for all of us.